are currently in Kunming in China, which if you're only following us via our videos and Instagram posts, you would probably have no idea because we're very, very far behind. So we thought we would sit down and just have a little chat and give you an update as to what's been going on. Yeah, moving on to Vietnam, I guess.
Yeah, it seems like our food quality went from high to medium to crap.
Yeah, oh well, you can kind of say that about the people too.
Yeah, the people went from really nice in Thailand to pretty good in Laos.
Yeah.
To, well, they're just like China in Vietnam, and after living in China for 4 years, we're not that big of a fan.
Yeah, literally, like, as soon as we crossed the border, we were like, are we in Vietnam or China?
Honk, 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 honk. Shut up, that's not helping anything.
Yeah, Vietnam is part of Southeast Asia, but they might as well be part of China because their culture, the way that people act, the way society functions,
the way they look,
it's the same as China. It is like
China.
Yeah, it's nothing like Laos and Thailand. They're not Buddhist at all. 0 Buddhist temples in Vietnam, which I think that contributes a big part to the cultural difference.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of Catholic churches, Christian churches there. We never went in or actually saw anybody go to them, but they were there.
Yeah, so that was our first kind of like jarring, like, wow, all right, welcome to Vietnam. Yeah, and then the second thing I guess that we really noticed was the food. Which I was expecting, I don't know, I had heard like people praising Vietnam food.
Oh my gosh, the pho!
Yeah,
the pho.
like...
You know what pho is? It's bland soup with mint in it and a couple slices of beef, and yeah, that's it. It's pretty awful. I liked it. The problem is it's the same everywhere, and it seems to be like the main food that people eat when they go out. So there's, I guess in Vietnamese culture, we were trying to look it up because when we first got to Vietnam, we were really surprised at the lack of restaurants and the lack of variety of the food in the restaurants. And we think that the deal is that like the Vietnamese don't really have a culture of eating out. Like most people eat at home. And so the restaurants, it's like when people go out, like you get pho, you get like... Bún cha!
Yeah, bún cha, which is like kind of like a noodle salad type thing.
Yeah.
And you get like banh mi, which is a sandwich.
Banh mi is the best thing in Vietnam by a long shot.
Yeah.
It's just a baguette with meat on it.
Yeah, meat
and vegetables.
Meat and cilantro and cucumber.
And hopefully a bunch of good sauces, but that varies based on who makes it.
Yeah. So basically we lived off of those 3 dishes for the 3 weeks that we were in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And by the time we left, we were so sick of the food in Vietnam.
Yeah. And we hit China and quickly got sick of Chinese food. After living here for 4 years, you go to the restaurants and you get oil. So much oil.
I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm sick of Chinese food yet. But
Chinese food tastes spectacular, but there's just too much oil in the fried dishes you get.
Yeah. Vietnam. I guess the best part about Vietnam for us, I mean, certainly for me, it was just the natural scenery. Like, the countryside in Vietnam is stunning.
Yeah, I think part of it was because we came from a super dry and arid-looking Thailand and Laos to super freaking wet. You could tell by how much I was sweating on how wet it was. It was very green in Vietnam.
It was super lush. Yeah. But I mean, like, the mountains are just, like, so gorgeous. There's rice paddies everywhere. There's rice terraces everywhere. Like, There's
water buffaloes everywhere.
Yeah, water buffaloes everywhere. I mean, the countryside, like, for me anyways, in Vietnam was, like, top-notch so far.
Riding along the coast on the, I guess we were probably on the highway.
It was Highway 1, yeah.
Yeah, not so good.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend taking the coastal highway. Yeah. It was full of traffic, and it wasn't very scenic.
Yeah, I'm sure there's other roads around there, but we were just trying to get to Cat Ba to Ha Long Bay.
Yeah.
Which we ended up getting to Ha Long Bay on the biggest festival holiday in Vietnam all year. The commemoration of the end of the American War.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
But the American War.
Pat ourselves on the back for that one.
Terrible. Every hotel was sold out. We ended up camping on the roof of a hostel that had just opened.
Yeah. That was, See, this is one of the things that can happen when you don't plan things, which in Asia is usually completely fine because nobody here plans anything. But
here, you don't want to plan things.
No. You don't, but in this case it bit us in the ass. I mean, how were we supposed to know what the Vietnamese holidays
even if
were?
you planned it, you wouldn't have known that. That's not something you look for.
Yeah. So yeah, that was fun. But then once we got back into the mountains,
gorgeous.
No traffic, gorgeous scenery.
Even Hanoi, which I wanted to avoid, wasn't that bad to ride through.
No, it really wasn't. The Chinese cities are way worse.
Yeah, so riding through Hanoi wasn't bad at all. We were able to stop at a bike shop and at a warm showers host for a night.
Yeah.
And got all the supplies I needed. Most bike shops in Asia don't have what you need when you're touring. They don't have anything. I mean, I went to a bike shop here in Kunming. They didn't have patches for tubes. Are you serious?
Yeah, that's pretty basic.
But we ended up at a bike shop in Hanoi that had Schwalbe tires for us in 20-inch size.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Well, they had 2 of them. Perfect.
Yeah. I mean, especially everybody warned us about riding through Hanoi, especially with our tandem bike and trailer. They were like, "Oh my God, I can't imagine you guys taking that through Hanoi." No problem.
Yeah, we've ridden in China. It is so much worse in China.
Oh yeah, it is way worse. Riding into Kunming the other day, I was freaking terrified.
It's not as bad as Kara makes it out to be.
No, but it did make me realize why I didn't like cycling when we lived in China. Lived in a city in China. Now, the Chinese countryside, totally fine. Gorgeous, nice roads, little traffic, whatever.
Big traffic jams.
Yeah. But riding through the cities in China is awful. And I think part of the reason is just because they're so dang big.
Yeah, they're just long.
Yeah, so it's just the bad traffic.
Yeah, we spent 40K riding into Kunming.
Yeah, it was just ridiculous. The traffic just goes on forever. And you're constantly weaving in and out, and people are trying to cut you off, and for me anyways, it's really stressful. Even on the back of the tandem, it's really stressful.
She should just close her eyes and
I really should.
and not look.
But how do I close my eyes for 40K? That's how
just
long.
go to sleep. I'm sure you're just hanging out back there anyways. That's what everybody tells me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not true. So, yeah, we were actually, after Vietnam, I mean, granted the scenery was gorgeous, but pretty much everything else about it we didn't really like, I would say.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we were actually really excited to leave and cross the border into China, which, if you don't know us, we spent 4 years living in China, and if you would have told me when we left just a few months ago that I would be that excited to come back to China, I wouldn't have believed you.
Yeah.
I was serious, for at least a week, I was just all I could do was just look forward to crossing the border to China. And when we crossed, it was I mean, the first few days, it was great. We were really enjoying it. I loved being able to communicate with people again.
That is so much more convenient, being able to talk to people.
Yeah, that was really nice after almost 2 months of not being able to communicate with anybody unless they spoke English. That was amazing. The food, our first Chinese meal was to die for compared to the food in Vietnam and Laos. After over a month of eating bad food,
it was flavor.
Oh, but yeah, Chinese
smack
food
yourself
is
in the face flavor.
Yeah, it is smack you in the face flavor. It's amazing. We love it. The only thing you have to be careful, if you don't like spicy food, you might have a little bit of an issue, especially in Yunnan and Sichuan provinces.
And
but we love spicy food.
For all those vegans and vegetarians out there, the reason the food tastes so good here is because there's meat in all the vegetable dishes.
Pretty much, yeah.
It just makes it better.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's amazing.
Yep.
Although it only took us maybe about a week of cycling in China to realize why we were so excited to leave China just a few months ago, too. So there's that.
Yeah, we were on a huge climb up from the river, more or less. It was 1,500, 1,800 meters, really long ways. But we ran into a traffic jam on the way up the mountain.
In the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, we're 40 kilometers from anything.
Yeah.
And it's just non-stop construction trucks in both directions trying to pass each other on this super narrow road. And they can barely pass with like 2 or 3 inches between them. With one trying to fall off the edge of the mountain and the other one smashing into the wall to pass.
Yeah, I mean, they were so close together. Like, usually in traffic jams on a bike, it's actually good because you can fit in between the cars. No. These construction trucks they left maybe 6 inches between each other. Like, there was no fitting. Even if we didn't have panniers in a trailer, there was no fitting the bike through there. You couldn't even, I don't even think we could fit through there if we turned sideways.
Yeah, we might have been able to walk. We could walk in the ditch sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was hard with the trailer to maneuver through.
Yeah, so we ended up spending like, I don't know, how long did we spend waiting in a traffic jam?
When I analyzed the file afterwards, it was actually only like 45 minutes, but it felt like hours.
Yeah. Still, I mean, even to spend 45 minutes on a bike having to sit in a traffic jam in the middle of nowhere, going up some random mountain in rural China is just ridiculous.
But it just makes me laugh because the cars were sitting there for 4 and 5 hours. They just turn them off, get out, and have a picnic on the side of the road because they're not going anywhere.
I mean, the people here are just like so used to it.
Yeah, the Chinese are used to the clusters that they create. It is just kind of humorous, those stupid traffic jams that happen here.
Yeah, it is kind of humorous, but yeah, I mean, we're back to the land of tons of big trucks, honking, people gawking at you, staring at you. I mean,
we are zoo animals, right?
Yeah, be prepared for that if you come to China. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're white. Waiguaran.
Yeah, so Waiguaran means foreigner, and you will hear that a lot, especially with like little kids. They'll just like point at you, Waiguaran, Waiguaran, and they're like grab their mom.
Yeah.
Waiguaran, Waiguaran.
Just point back and say Zhongguaran.
Yeah, that's what we've started doing. It's just you got to make a game out of it, otherwise you'll just go crazy. But yeah, so we're back to that. Even though I can speak Chinese, I still can't deter people from doing that. Like I try to just initiate a conversation. Like the other day when we were at the bike shop here in Kunming, that guy that was just like staring at you fixing the bike, like just like stood in front staring.
Yeah, and we had the same thing happen in Vietnam. Some guy just sits there and stares.
Yeah, but like in here I can communicate, so I try to be like, oh, ni hao, which was hello, and just like nothing. Like he might say like ni hao, but like no response, and he was sitting there for what, like 20 minutes just staring at us. Like there's a lot of things.
I'm not that interesting, dude.
Apparently
you can go
we
away.
are extremely interesting.
Yeah.
According to them. I don't know. But yeah, even a lot of times if you can speak Chinese, it makes it a lot better, but even some people are just like immune to that. Like you try and talk to them so that it can feel a little bit less like you're in a zoo.
Yeah. Hopefully it makes them feel uncomfortable so they leave. Yeah. They're only comfortable doing that if they think you can't understand them.
Right. So then when you can like show that you can understand, they're kind of like, oh, because they know that they're being rude. Like, yes, everybody does it in China, but it's still known that like that's a rude thing to do. So a lot of times if I can start talking to them, I'll kind of like either make them go away because they're kind of like embarrassed, like, oh crap, this person like knows. Or I can like make a new friend because they'll actually want to talk to me since now they know that I can communicate with them. But yeah, this guy just nothing. So be prepared for that if you're cycling in China. I mean, the best thing you can do is just have a really great sense of humor and take it with a grain of salt. Otherwise, you will go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I think we're at about 30 minutes on this video now. So I think we're going to wrap it up here and say we've been having a good time so far and look forward to, 6 more months of doing this.
Yeah, so before we wrap it up though, I just wanted to say that we are staying here in Kunming for a few days to hopefully try and get more caught up on all of our videos and photos and stuff. So you should be seeing a lot more content coming out from us soon. I hope. Hopefully we can get a lot more caught up.
Maybe it'll happen.
Yeah, that's the plan anyways.
One more day.
Yeah. All right.
See you guys later.